Sometimes, it only takes one sentence to destroy everything you thought was real. For me, it came on a random Tuesday night. After 4 years together, I opened Facebook and saw my girlfriend Rachel's status. Never let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband. My blood ran cold. My chest felt like it was caving in. Did she really just announce to the world that I was nothing more than a placeholder? I didn't text her. I didn't call. Instead, I commented for everyone to see. Good luck finding him. Then I switched my relationship status to single and tagged her whole family. By the time Rachel scrambled to delete the post, it was too late. The bomb had already gone off. My name is Ethan Miller, 32 years old, software engineer from Seattle. I've always been the steady one. The guy with a career, a plan, and a future laid out step by step. And for 4 years, I thought Rachel was part of that plan. We did everything a serious couple is supposed to do. Split the bills, picked out furniture together, even spent weekends strolling through neighborhoods, pointing out houses we'd one day buy. We talked about kids, vacations, maybe even moving somewhere sunnier. I thought we were building something real. Then came that post. One simple line on her Facebook wall. A line that cut deeper than any knife. Never let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband. At first, I thought it was a bad joke. A quote she posted without thinking. But no, Rachel knew exactly what she was doing. When I confronted her, she waved it off. It's just a saying, Ethan. Don't be dramatic. But I wasn't stupid. I knew what it meant. That sentence was her confession. I wasn't her partner, I was her placeholder. I told her straight. We're done. Pack your things. That's when her mask slipped. She didn't look heartbroken. She didn't even look surprised. She smirked, crossed her arms, and fired back. My name's on the lease. You can't kick me out. And that's when it hit me, this wasn't going to be a breakup. This was going to be a war. The following days were hell. Rachel went from cold to openly hostile. She blasted music at midnight, stomped around in heels across the hardwood floors, and made sure I couldn't sleep. She invited friends over constantly, drinking until 3 a.m., and left empty wine bottles on the counter like trophies. But the final straw? One night she dragged in a guy named Travis, loud, obnoxious, reeking of cheap beer, and let him crash on the couch. I pulled Rachel aside. Get him out. Now. She laughed in my face. This is my apartment too. I can invite whoever I want. That was the moment I stopped seeing her as my girlfriend and started seeing her as an opponent. I wasn't going to stoop to screaming or pleading. That's what she expected, me breaking down, me losing control. Instead, I made a decision right then and there. If she wanted war, she'd get it. But it wouldn't be messy. It wouldn't be loud. No, my revenge would be clean, strategic, surgical. Because Rachel was about to learn the hard way, I fight best in silence. The first battle was the apartment. I knew Rachel thought she had me cornered, but I wasn't going to sit back and let her parade her new guests through my living room. So I pulled out the lease agreement, highlighted the clauses about noise and overnight visitors, and fired off an email to our landlord. Within 24 hours, he replied, "One more complaint, and Rachel risked eviction." I printed that email, taped it to the fridge like a trophy, and went about my day. That evening, Travis, the couch surfer, looked pale as he read it. He packed his duffel bag without a word. Strike one. But Rachel wasn't someone who learned lessons quickly. She switched tactics. If she couldn't poison the apartment, she'd go after my belongings. One night she waved a handwritten list in my face, claiming the flat-screen TV, my gaming laptop, and even the espresso machine I'd spent months saving for were community property. Big mistake. I'm a software engineer. I keep records of everything. Within hours, I dug up every receipt, scanned every credit card statement, and compiled them neatly into a single email. Then, just for good measure, I copied her father on the thread. The next morning, Rachel wouldn't even look at the espresso machine. Strike two. But she wasn't done. When she couldn't win inside the apartment, she tried to destroy me outside of it. Suddenly, my name was being dragged across Facebook. Rachel started posting cropped screenshots of our texts, twisting every argument to make me look like some jealous control freak. Within hours, her friends were filling my inbox with insults. I didn't clap back. I didn't comment. Instead, I played my ace. For weeks, I'd been quietly recording our fights. The late-night screaming matches, the insults, the threats. I also had the unedited versions of those text threads. I compiled everything into one clean file and sent it, not to her friends, not to the public, but directly to her father. By morning, every single post was gone. Her dad called me, voice low and heavy with disappointment. I'll talk to her. This ends now. Strike 3. Rachel was spiraling. Every move she made, I countered. And the worst part, for her, was that I wasn't even raising my voice. I was calm, methodical, untouchable. But people like Rachel don't go down easy. Her pride wouldn't let her quit. She'd lost the apartment battle, the property battle, and the reputation battle. That only meant one thing: she was planning something bigger. Something desperate. And I knew when it came, I had to be ready, not just to block it, but to end this war once and for all. Because Rachel didn't realize yet, every move she made only dug her deeper into a hole she wouldn't climb out of. My plan was simple: let her bury herself. I stopped feeding her drama. No arguments, no jabs, no late-night shouting. I paid bills on time, kept my head down, and stayed polite. And it worked. The calmer I became, the more unhinged Rachel looked. Neighbors noticed. Even her own friends started pulling back. Weeks later, she finally moved out, slammed the door so hard the frame rattled. On the kitchen table, she left a ripped piece of notebook paper with 2 words. I hate you. I laughed out loud. Because deep down, I knew the war wasn't over. Not yet. 3 months later, the news dropped. Rachel was engaged. To Travis. Yes, that Travis. The freeloading couch surfer who once reeked of cheap beer on my sofa. The guy she swore was just a friend. And now, somehow, they were planning a massive engagement party at one of the nicest restaurants downtown. Black tie, open bar, gourmet catering. The whole thing screamed money. But here's the problem: Rachel and Travis didn't have money. Rachel barely kept up with her half of the rent when she lived with me, and Travis couldn't even cover takeout without borrowing cash. So how exactly were 2 broke 20-somethings pulling off a $10,000 party? I didn't have to wonder long. A buddy of mine worked in events, and with one quick favor, the truth came out. Travis had scraped together a deposit. But the rest? The balance was due the week of the party. If they didn't pay, the whole event would collapse. That's when inspiration struck. I sat down at my laptop, opened a new anonymous email account, and drafted a message to the restaurant's event manager. No threats. No ranting. Just facts. I attached screenshots of Rachel's original Facebook post, "Never let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband," along with the cropped, manipulative posts she'd made dragging me online. Then I wrote a single line that sealed their fate. You may want to confirm the financial stability of this couple before finalizing their event. They have a history of overpromising and under-delivering. I hit send. And then I waited. Days passed. The week of the party rolled around. And then my phone buzzed. My buddy sent me a message. "Dude, you're gonna love this." Apparently, the restaurant called Travis directly, asking for the remaining balance. Travis panicked. Rachel raged. Guests started getting confusing updates. And then, just like I predicted, everything began to unravel. Because this wasn't just about a party. This was about control, image, and ego. And when people like Rachel feel their shiny new reality slipping through their fingers, they don't go down gracefully. They explode. And I was ready to watch the fireworks. The engagement party was supposed to be Rachel's grand redemption arc, the proof that she had leveled up after me. Photos of the ballroom spread across social media: crystal chandeliers, champagne fountains, Rachel smiling like she was royalty in a designer dress she definitely couldn't afford. But perfection only lasts until the bill comes due. Halfway through dinner, the restaurant manager approached Travis's table. Calm but firm, he leaned down and asked about the remaining balance. According to my friend who worked the event, Travis froze. His face went red, then purple. What do you mean, the balance? Rachel said it was taken care of, he snapped. The manager shook his head. No, sir. Only the deposit was paid. We need the rest before dessert is served. That's when everything detonated. Travis stood up, fists clenched, his voice booming across the hall. Are you kidding me, Rachel? You told me your dad was covering the rest. You lied to me, again. Rachel tried to hush him, hissing, Please, not here. We'll talk later. But Travis wasn't having it. He unleashed every frustration in front of her family, friends, and coworkers. You've been using me for clout since day one. Posting pictures, playing the victim online, acting like you're some catch, when in reality, you're broke and desperate. Gasps echoed across the room. Rachel's parents tried to step in, but Travis wasn't finished. He reached into his pocket, pulled out the velvet ring box, and with a dramatic flick of his wrist, hurled it straight at Rachel's chest. The snap of the box hitting her dress silenced the room. You're a gold-digging fraud, Rachel, he shouted, his voice cracking with rage. I should have listened when people warned me about you. Then he stormed out. The band stopped playing. Guests whispered and gathered their coats. Some tried to comfort Rachel, but most slipped out the side doors, eager to escape the train wreck. Within minutes, her fairy tale night had collapsed into a scene straight out of a nightmare. And word spread fast. Clips of the fight, recorded on guests' phones, circulated online within hours. Comments flooded in. Guess the book club finally closed. Didn't she do this to her ex too? The same friends who once defended her now mocked her. Within a week, Travis had blocked her on everything. The engagement was dead before it ever truly began. Rachel was left with nothing but debt, humiliation, and a reputation in ashes. Meanwhile me? I was thriving. My apartment was quiet. My work performance improved. I even started traveling again, something I'd put on hold for her. No smear campaigns. No late-night drama. Just peace. And the sweet, undeniable knowledge that karma had finally caught up with her, with only the slightest push from me. Sometimes, revenge doesn't require yelling, fists, or chaos. Sometimes, you just let people trip over their own lies, and then you watch the fall. Looking back now, I realize Rachel's betrayal wasn't just about one Facebook post, it was about the complete absence of respect. That quote she shared was more than a careless joke. It was a confession. She didn't see me as her partner, she saw me as a temporary stepping stone until something better came along. And that's the thing about people like Rachel, they believe you'll always stay, no matter how many times they humiliate you. They count on your silence. They count on your forgiveness. They count on your fear of starting over. But she underestimated me. I didn't lose a girlfriend that day. I lost a parasite, a person who drained my time, my energy, and my peace. And in exchange, I gained something infinitely more valuable, self-respect. Freedom. Peace of mind. Rachel's ending wrote itself. She walked away with nothing but debt, shame, and a broken engagement. She burned her bridges so thoroughly that even her closest allies stopped defending her. I walked away with a clean slate. No strings, no regrets. I used the silence she left behind to rebuild my life stronger than before. My career took off. My friendships deepened. And slowly I began to trust again, but this time with my eyes open. If there's one lesson I learned, it's this. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't waste your years clinging to excuses, hoping they'll change. People don't accidentally disrespect you, it's a choice. And every time you let it slide, you teach them that your boundaries don't matter. So don't argue. Don't beg. Don't let yourself be turned into the villain of their story. Walk away with your dignity intact. Guard your future like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. And here's the kicker. The best revenge isn't screaming in their face, throwing things, or stooping to their level. The best revenge is living so well, so free, that their memory becomes irrelevant. It's watching them collapse under the weight of their own lies while you're too busy thriving to even care. Rachel thought she broke me. In reality, she built me. Because without her betrayal, I might never have found the courage to choose myself over someone who never deserved me. And that's a choice I'll never regret. That was my story, But now I want to hear yours. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, only to discover you were just their backup plan? How did you deal with it? Did you cut ties and move on, or did you take the sweet road of revenge? Share your story in the comments. I read every single one and I know others will relate too. And if you love raw, unfiltered cheating stories with endings that satisfy, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss what's next.